Hello, I'm Scott. I'm the breathing guy. I'll train you to locate, generate, activate core key energy in physical activity. This video series is titled Tennis Serve Mechanics, and I'm going to deal with shoulder rotation and how you can do it much better. In fact, I'm going to give you 3 points of view, and you can pick between the three, understanding each one of the point of view. The first point of view is going to be what people do now. What do they do with their left arm in the serve? Then I'm going to give you 2 alternative ways to what you do with the left arm that affects your shoulder rotation. This is about shoulder rotation. Now, understanding the serve itself, 80% of the force that you can generate comes from the hands, any way you look at it on there. If you don't believe me, just test something. I don't care what body movement you do, don't let your wrist cock and just go like this. Just hit flat. No wrist action, no snap, no nothing. And see how much far you go. Versus if you can almost hit it up, let the racket go back and then snap it like that. You can hear the racket, if you want to say the wind, going through the racket. Anyway, the whole idea here is to give you options to change if you choose to have less, if you want to say even shoulder injuries. What's the advantages and disadvantages of the different positions? So the first one I wanted to give you is what people do now. If you watch most serves from pros, whatever, after they serve, what do they do with the left hand? They bring it to here, here. That's what most of them. Once in a while you see someone here. But when you bring it to here, your shoulder can't go forward. Because if the shoulder here doesn't rotate, involve, how can it? 2, what do most pros involve when they do put their hand here and they come up? If you look, they come up and then they tip to the side. So if the head, when the shoulder comes up, so they gain, say, 2 inches. So at the jump, turning like this. But what do you lose by doing this way? Which way do you get more force coming through? If you go to the side like this, when your arm goes like this, or if your arm goes straight? That's the question. If the arm goes straight, it has more power or force, versus if your arm goes to the side, you're tilted to the side. Now, like I said, when most pros do this, they gain 2 inches on the height. So they're jumping up, they're contorting their spine and their shoulder here. And so it's all forward body motion too. Now, I want shoulder rotation. I think you don't need to do all that to get better serve abilities. Faster arm speed, faster hand speed. Because you got faster hand speed, then you got faster snap speed. Those are different. So, and how the lower body plays into this whole problem, whole dynamic ability to serve. Let's begin. So, first thing, if you can test this, please don't take my word. Put your hand here, and bring up here like you're going to serve, and try to shoulder rotate. See my shoulder? You can see it. You can't. You have to almost twist your whole body out of the way. That's the first way. 2, if you bring your hand here and tip your body, you get that extra 2 inches. But again, the shoulder is stuck. And that way you have to almost throw yourself forward to get that forward momentum. To really put, if you want to say upper body force, you can watch the pros or best player. They lunge forward. They bend forward. That's a lot of work. It's not natural. It's not fluid. It's a lot of effort. Plus, the accuracy of the serve, you have to be really good to really be accurate. Now, I'm going to show you 2 alternatives that you can do that changes your shoulder rotation, enhances their shoulder, and can enhance your speed. The second, I want you to test. So once we establish, look at your shoulder, feel how your shoulder. Next thing, when you serve, I want you to use this finger here and slowly bring it back here, and then let your shoulders rotate. See how far you, look at my separation. Here's my hip straight, and my shoulder rotate. So it's here, here. So as soon as you start, bring it here, and you can actually do more force going into it. Test it. Don't take my word for it. You have to create the experience. That's the key. So even if you do this and tip to the side, you'll have greater shoulder rotation. If you even tip to the side involved. So that's the advantage of here, here, here. And always pull back with this finger only. All the other fingers are loose. That's a finger ergonomic thing. So when you serve, just literally throw your finger back like this, and it comes back. The third position is as fast as the left hand comes back is as fast as the shoulder rotates forward. A hand goes forward. So as this hand goes back, this takes training. It requires the core. It requires a sensation. This is called a push-pull, pull-push. So am I pulling back, I'm pushing my right hand forward involved. This is out of Tai Chi. This is out of Qi Gong. That's my area of specialty is Qi Gong. That means Qi means energy, Gong is method of using energy, and it comes from the breath. How to use your breath, how to lock your body up with breath. Even in tennis, you run out of breath. I don't care how strong you are, how much energy you have. If breath goes down, your endurance goes down, your energy's gone. The muscles are still there, but the ability to move them will be far, far less. Breath and energy go together, and endurance is based on breath. And that's my area of training because I'm a Qi Gong master involved. So next one, if you come up like this, now you have a choice. Even when you do it, if you do a jump up, and you don't have to lunge forward. You don't have to. So this is really altering. Even if you're pro, if you jump up and tip forward, this eliminates that. You don't have. Plus, when you get this down really fast, oh man. But it's a whole new experience. It's fluid, it forms. It's incorporating the whole body from the feet up. I want to make a serve from the feet up. How to use your feet. Now, I'm going to mention I have a video series on the hips. The hips are the key to serve too. And if you don't engage the lower core, I'm the only one I can think of that divides the core into the upper and lower. You have the diaphragm part of the core, and you have below down here. In the Eastern concept, they have the dantian. That's below the belly button. So understanding engaging that activates a whole lot more force in it from the hips. The hips is the foundation of all movement. If the hips are not in a good position, you're weak. Your body's weak. The range of motion is weak. That's why in a lot of ways you don't understand the hip placement. A lot of these pros, what they do is when they swing, they lean way back. If your hips are tilted back and you have that arch, what most people are, you can't lean back very far. But if your hips are tilted slightly forward, you can go back really far and jump up and involve. So the hip positioning and alignment is a real key point. That's in another video so I discuss. But the hips, always remember the hips are the foundation of movement, and it's also the foundation for a greater shoulder speed and rotation range. If your hips, you can test it. If your hips are back, like have that little arch, go back and feel, slowly move and feel the resistance, or how does it move? Is it fluid or does there a slight tension involved? Versus if you tip your hips slightly forward, inhale a little bit tight, and then see how fluid makes your body, your hands just flow. So when you're playing tennis, having your hips, and how do you create that is with core breath involved. It is a center point. There's always, if you want to say core breath, spirit, body and mind, that's my position. If you get this, get the body set up, get the breathing down, get the energy, this tension in your core, then you shape your body here. What does that do to the mind? It tells the mind I'm ready. If you try mind going the other way, it doesn't create the force you want, but setting up the mechanics of it, setting up your body shape to do this is the key. So again, what happens when you do this? You test it. Just put your hips straight and try to turn your shoulders. Feel what it, and I want you to do it slowly so you can feel every minute. But then if you just do this and see how you do, without your shoulders, hips even moving, see how far you get and no resistance. But then the ultimate is relationship to how fast this hand moves determines the speed of this hand. That's dynamic force. That's dynamic power. And you can amplify that really fast. It would change your whole approach to speed. That's the problem. So if you don't want to go to that level, because your whole serve is different, all you have to do is come up and bring it here. But always remember, only use this finger, the rest of the fingers are loose, and just right here, and you can get shoulder rotation without hurting yourself. A lot more. Nothing else has to change, just that ability. Then you adapt it to your swing, if you serve mechanics itself, the experience of having that ability to rotate versus stuff where you have to lunge forward. That's the difference between the two. If you need that extra couple inches, even so, coming up here, you'll have greater ability to rotate, even if your spine's side for the extra energy. But remember, when you do this, you're weaker going around like this versus going straight. It's like a throw involved. That's the key difference between each level of these three forms. And I'm adding the hips. Hip alignment is key to all movement in tennis, and then the breathing, core breathing. Those are the process. Now, when we go down to lower body later on, I'm going to do one on the feet. How to use the feet, how to engage, and what's the purpose. No one talks about how to aim your serve with your feet. Yet, it's always done. And I can prove it. You can watch the feet of all pros and stuff, watch the toes. The left toe involved, and the hips, left toe and the hips for the serve. It's like, it's a crisscross process. If you think crisscross, whatever the left is doing affects the right coming around. That's a whole nother concept. So this is tennis serve mechanics. This is shoulder rotation. The three ideas, concepts. I'm going to introduce a whole lot of other terms and ideas on how to serve in a much more fluid way, much more natural, and much more accurate and much more fun. That's all. Why impede your basic physical abilities? Everyone has different levels, but how you engage your body, shape your body for the movement you want, determines the force that could come from the core into your hands, into the racket, and how to use your body to do it. So look for the other videos on alignment, tennis serve mechanics, exploring alignment of the hips.